we'll have for the 50th CARICOM. It's a historic time. 50 years is a long time to celebrate. There's much that as the CARICOM we have done together, and there's far much more that we can do together. So happy to be back in St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you all. Have a blessed day.
Mrs. Bissessar will address the meeting at the Marriott Dome, where Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Secretary General of CARICOM, Dr. Carla Barnett, and recently appointed heads of government from across the region are also expected to deliver remarks. Just before takeoff in Trinidad, Mrs. Bissessar announced Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Geraldine John, as the acting Prime Minister, wishing her success on this critical responsibility. And the PM also took time to cut the ribbon to formally signify the launch of the premium passenger services at the Piarco International Airport before her departure, an initiative which is part of a suite of new services that are being offered to premium customers, including persons with business class tickets on Caribbean Airlines and persons using the Flyers Lounge. Among the delegation to St. Kitts and Nevis is Tobago House of Assembly Chief Secretary Farley Augustine and Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Sean Sobers. In other news, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, tutor Crystal Ash, accompanied by members of the National Executive, is asking Minister of Finance Devendranath Tanku for clear timelines on the payment of new salaries and back pay for members of the teaching service. Speaking to reporters after delivering the letter to the Ministry of Finance offices at the Eric Williams Financial Complex on Monday morning, Mr. Ash said he is hoping for clear communication between the ministry and the union on the issues outlined in the correspondence.
We are asking on the Minister of Finance today, reach out to tutor, reach out to any member of tutor, reach out to us via email self, reach out to the President, Crystal Ash, right? Let us know, listen, so I can organize money for your membership by so and so date. If you're having some difficulties, at least let us know.
The tutor president assured that the union will not pursue industrial action and is hoping to receive a response from the ministry during the next week. TTD News sought a response from Finance Minister Devendranath Tanku on the matter. Minister Tanku indicated that he had not yet seen the letter and was therefore unable to comment at this time. In sport now, it will be a busy month of March for the Trinidad and Tobago senior men's football team. This after the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association announced that TNT faced Bolivia in an international friendly on March 15th. TNT will travel to Santa Cruz, Bolivia to face the South American team, who will be using the match as part of their preparations for their upcoming World Cup Interconfederation qualifier versus Suriname. The announcement comes after the TTFA already announced friendlies against Venezuela on March 27th and Gabon on March 30th as part of the FIFA series. TNT and Bolivia last met in 2022, where Bolivia won the encounter 5-0. And that's what's making the news this morning. When we come back, the Trinidad and Tobago Today morning show gets going after this break.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. We report the news, real stories in real time. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Now listen, this is your boy Carlos Edwards. And as a former player, let me tell you, it's the fans, man. The fans that made the game, that's the 12th man right there. And when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago, there's only one 12th man you need to know. My guy, Andre Errol Baptiste on TTT. He's bringing the heat every Tuesday.
You are dearer to me than all the stars. So many wish but never reach. When I'm falling and all the world seems dark, you help me find my peace. Oh, shun mi ba fishani. Oh, shun mi ba oh, shun mi ba fishani. Arubita. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, you're not setting rules home, but telling your daughter, don't let no teacher have to call you because you're not following rules in school? You ever hear the old people say, butt in your crease? Better believe you could use that to set boundaries with your children. You are more than a friend to your children. Set clear, healthy boundaries for both you and your child. Make sure they are age appropriate and, most importantly, consistent. This helps them understand what behavior is expected of them and provides a sense of structure and stability. It gives you a framework of trust and understanding to build on. And so at the end of the day, do your best. Share if you found this useful, and like and follow our profile for more parenting tips. Letter of the day, B, boundaries.
Young ones, TTT's Terrific Toon Time is just for you. It's fun, it's exciting, and it's adventure-filled too. Join us as we follow the characters you know and love. See what our hero Zack gets up to in Super Z. Dive into the action with Bugs Butt Ignition. Put on your explorer's cap and join Dada and Dada on their next adventure. And of course, we can't forget our cosmic friends on Galaxy Kids. Tune in Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. and 4:10 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. Don't miss it. It's Terrific Toon Time only on TTT.
Tuesday, 24th February 2026. The time now, it is 6:08 a.m. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Virmala Balkaran, and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today. Well, you know the drill. Let's take a look at what's trending this morning. Well, Tutor visited the Ministry of Finance yesterday morning to hand deliver a letter to the minister. So in that letter, the union asked for clear timelines on three key matters. One, the implementation of the 2020-2023 salary settlement payment of resulting arrears, and the regularization and adjustment of allowances for officers under the third schedule. Now, Tutor also requested the intervention of the Prime Minister to assist in reaching the point where all educators can really begin to receive their new salaries. So the union has given a 7-day period for response. And if that period ends without any communication, well, the General Council will then determine the way forward. And in other news, the Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Gillian John, has confirmed there is currently no cargo backlog at the port of Port of Spain or at the port of Scarborough. There were concerns all over social media that, possible bottlenecks exist on the inter-island sea bridge. But the minister toured the Blue Wave Harmony and met directly with Port Authority officials and the operations teams. She then said there is no stored cargo for Tobago and that the yard is cleared with each sailing. The vessel, which is in its sea trial phase, has significant cargo capacity and it is scheduled to begin full commercial operations on March 1st. The minister also stressed that efficient inter-island cargo movement remains a critical national priority. Well, Minister Jolene John is also serving as acting Prime Minister during the Prime Minister's absence as she heads to the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, where she is leading a national delegation that includes the Foreign of CARICOM and CARICOM Affairs. That's the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Sean Sobers, the Minister, Nicholas Morris, as well, and the Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, and senior government officials. Discussions are focusing on things like, the regional priorities, participation from international partners, including the United States, Saudi Arabia, and also Afrexim Bank. Bilateral talks are also being pursued to strengthen economic cooperation, trade, security, and of course, overall development. Additionally, the Prime Minister confirmed that the U.S. has requested a private meeting with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, ahead of the CARICOM plenary in St. Kitts, their second high-level talks in September, to discuss regional security cooperation, the OFAC license for the Dragon gas deal with Venezuela, and of course, other economic matters. She also denied plans for a U.S. military base in Trinidad and Tobago, and she highlighted a 42% drop in murders since a strengthened U.S. security collaboration. And then she rejected claims that her trip was solely to meet Rubio, and she stressed that, Cabinet had decided weeks earlier to attend the CARICOM meeting. But before her departure, back here in Trinidad, the PM also launched premium passenger service at the Piarco International Airport. Now, this is exciting. This service is simply designed to enhance the experience for premium travelers, including business class passengers on Caribbean Airlines and users of the VIP Flyers Lounge. Plans are also in place to introduce the service as a paid fast track option. Is that something you'll be interested in? Well, finally this morning, I know you woke up and you are feeling it too. Oh my goodness, the Environmental Management Authority is advising us to take precautions due to elevated Saharan dust levels affecting Trinidad and Tobago. And as you can see, it's a seriously horrible situation every single day whenever these alerts are issued. Just take your meds. Please, please, please wear a mask if that will help you. And now, while particulate matter data is temporarily unavailable due to maintenance upgrades to monitoring equipment, there are other monitoring systems reporting the increased dust concentrations. And I know you don't need a report. All you have to do is just wake up, take a deep breath, and you'll know there's a lot of Saharan dust in the atmosphere. While the result is visibly hazy conditions and reduced air quality this morning and going forward, please, please, please take the necessary precautions. The EMA is also urging the older adults, young children, pregnant women, individuals with heart disease, asthma, or other respiratory conditions, please take precautions. Well, 13 after 6 o'clock, we've got so much in store for you today. We're talking about CARIFTA trials. Also, some big news coming out of UWI St. Augustine. And today, we have Redefining Normal with Shamla Miraj. That and more when we come back inside Trinidad and Tobago Today.
City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry-Leen Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
So I'll go right to on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1, your city, your voice.
Father Lord, put a hand. How many times you utter that or something similar out of frustration or tiredness when dealing with your family? But even if it isn't said with feelings, prayers are critical to your family life. Remember, a family that prays together stays together. Teach your child about the importance of prayer as a means of connecting with the Almighty God. Show them to express gratitude, seek guidance, and find solace through prayer. Help them to understand that prayer can be a source of strength and comfort in difficult times. At the end of the day, do your best as parents. Share if you found this useful. Like and follow our profile for more parenting tips. The letter of the day is P for prayers.
Your stories, your communities, your country. TTT News is everywhere, on the ground, across Trinidad and Tobago, and on every smart device. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Fans know the excitement of seeing Trinidad and Tobago's young stars shine at the CARIFTA Games each year. But long before those medals are won and national records are broken, the journey begins right here at home. The CARIFTA Trials 2026 take place on February 28th and March 1st at the Hazley Crawford Stadium, where this country's most promising junior athletes will compete for a coveted spot on the national team. From sprints and jumps to throws and middle distance, the competition promises speed, power, and of course, heart. Joining us to talk about the importance of CARIFTA, the upcoming trials, and the future of athletics in Trinidad and Tobago is the president of the National Association of Athletics Administration of Trinidad and Tobago, and no stranger to TNT Today, Mr. Ephraim Sarrett. Good morning, President Sarrett.
Good morning, and to your viewing public.
Welcome back to the show.
It's my pleasure.
I like to say you are a staple now on the show. So, Mr. Sarrett, we always hear about our athletes participating at the CARIFTA Games, but just to give some insight before we continue the conversation, what is CARIFTA?
CARIFTA, or the CARIFTA Games, was birthed in Trinidad and Tobago back in 1971 by two Trinidadians, Dr. Jesse Noel and Mr. Raul Raphael. The first games were held in Barbados because lack of funding in Trinidad. One Austin Seeley, who was a banker in Barbados, was able to have the games in Barbados. That's 1972. In 73, the games were held in Trinidad and Tobago at the Queen's Park Oval. The athletes stayed at the Hilton. We had a drowning. On the Jamaican team was Michael Holden. He was part of their 4x4 relay team. So the games started back then. Athletes would have stayed in schools and those kind of things. But we far going beyond that, where we would have hosted the 52nd edition last year. The athletes stayed at both Radisson and Hyatt. The international technical officials were accommodated at Marriott's, and the presidents and general secretaries of the associations were housed at the Brits. So it's a regional games that has been described as the best junior competition in the world. So you have the likes of Marshall Cedeno, Jeremy Richards, Keyshawn Walcott from Jamaica, Shelley Fraser-Price, Usain Bolt. So a lot of the regional top athletes, Julian Alfred from St. Lucia, would have come through these games.
Yeah, well, okay. So tell us about the upcoming trials, like the age groups, the schools participating. Is it individuals, just clubs? How is the participation, categorized?
Right, so there are two age groups, under 17 and under 20. And in Trinidad and Tobago, we are club-based. So that the clubs, we have over 50 odd clubs that are in Trinidad and Tobago who would be participating in the competition over the weekend. The athletes under 17, they must be turning 14 in this year. Previous years, we'd have had athletes 13-year-old, like Michelle Ahi went to the games as a 13-year-old, Kanisha Mann, Coltrus, Adel Coltrus. We had quite a few young athletes who went as 13-year-olds and competed with the under 17s and did well. So it's two age groups. Okay. The two-day meet starts at 9 in the morning and finish at 5. It's 2 long days because we have to give the opportunity to athletes for all events to ensure that they qualify.
Right. I know you may not have a number of the events, but a rough figure perhaps? On my last check, we have entries totaling some 490 something participants. Events would be roughly around 40 or 45 events over the 2 days. Wow. That is a lot. It is. Yeah, and I'm guessing you have a panel that will, just view all of these, and it's a huge team behind the scenes. Well, working. Yes, we have a events committee, and then the selection committee will be present, so they will be taking the records and the performances. Yeah. Now, while there's not a standard to qualify for CARIFTA games like the World Championships or the Olympics, is one of we call our development pathway. So we look at results from the last 2 years and develop our own standards for the athletes to achieve in order to be selected on the national team. So that we would look at a middle road performance standard. So at least we give them the opportunity that they can make a final and hopefully podium. Yeah. So those standards are set. And they're established, and the clubs would be aware of it from as early as early in the year. Yeah. We also have participants who would come from outside of China, those who are in college, those who are in Jamaica, that would have to come home to participate in the trials to be selected on the national team. I know you called a few big names, but I want to talk a little bit about that, about the ones who've emerged as real champions coming out of that CARIFTA start. Right, with 2012, Keyshawn Walcott won CARIFTA gold in Bermuda. Went on to Spain to win World Junior gold, and then went to London and win the Olympic gold medal as a junior athlete. So we have people like Keyshawn, we have Marshall Cedeno, who would have followed in that same path, winning the CARIFTA in 2014, going to Eugene, Oregon, winning the World Junior title, and then he was part of the national team. And he continued on to 2017 when he was part of the 4x4 team that defeated the US at the World Championships in London, setting a new national record. So we have Jereme also would have come through that pathway, Michelle Ahi, Kellyanne Batiste. And if I can share, in 2005, the CARIFTA Games were held in Tobago. Kellyanne Batiste would have defeated Shelley Fraser-Price then. So that, a lot of the quality athletes from the region, this is where they start. Yeah. And we have a lot of foreign coaches from the US colleges
who come to these games to scout for athletes.
And what is the preparation like for these athletes going into these trials?
Well, the coaches in the clubs would work with them. They know the standards. We would have held at least 4 developmental series where athletes would have been competing and, gauging their, where they are and where they need to be to get to perform at the best level at the trials. So they have been participating in these developmental series that we call them. Our last series was on Sunday. Some people played it kind of safe. They didn't compete because the rest and they want to do their best coming this weekend. So that they have been prepared. And then once selected, we normally would select a team like a month before to prepare because they have travel arrangements. And although when the athletes when they are registering, we ask that they have valid passports and all these things in order to and most of the times we get it's in progress. So in order to take care of those sort of stuff, we have a 1 month window to see about those stuff. One, the athletes are selected, and this year the games is in Grenada, from the 4th to the 6th. So what we have done is we have gone into arrangement with Caribbean Airlines to have a charter. We have a big following by parents who support the athletes, so they travel. So our team is normally around 60 to 65. We have a support backing from about 40 parents. And seeing that last year, the games were held here, the 52nd edition, we had a good arrangement with Caribbean Airlines. So they would have brought in like Martinique, Curacao, where they fly. So we would have worked with them. So this year, some of those countries would come to Trinidad to join the charter to go to Grenada.
Yeah. Mr. Sarah, these, you spoke about as young as 13, 14 around there. They also have to balance this with their school as well. So I'm very sure that that's also a focus of the association, ensuring that there is that balance and also their mental preparation is important.
Of course, we actually, before we lost our NGC development sponsors, there was a particular program. We have one now running with Scotiabank, and athletes qualify for those programs. And a key part of the program is not just the performance on the track, but performance in school. Yeah. So that we focus a lot on that and preparing them so that those who are being scouted to go to school in the US, they will be ready to so do.
Yeah, an all-round experience, because that's really important as well. So for fans coming to the trials, it's open to the public, right?
It's open to the public, and a small $20 for both days, each day, $20. Normally the trials would have been free to the public.
Okay.
But with the loss of our development partner, this year we had to go and source sponsors, so we got some assistance from Kenson's, from Kenny Sports Center. We also got some from Proman Foundation, and just last week we got some from Trinity Plaza. So those were persons who come on board to assist so that the event can happen over the weekend. And well, the government, their sponsorship is waiving the rental fees at the facility. Right.
So what can fans expect, or just supporters coming to?
Well, we have some upcoming athletes. We have a young, I think, Aiden Chiwa, who's just turning. I think she'll be 14 or 15 this year. She would be 15 this year. Competing in the under 17 age group. She has run faster than senior women in the 200. She has put on a time of 23.9. Which is very, very outstanding for an athlete of her age. Yeah. We have Michaela Woods, who last weekend ran 46.09 as a junior. Quite a few, Alexi Passad. We have quite a few of our athletes who have been showing that kind of progress at the development series. So it will be exciting competition over the weekend. Athletes trying to attain, those who haven't attained the standard, trying to make the standard, and then competing for a spot in the pool for the relays, the 4x1 relays and the 4x4 relays.
Yeah, Mr. Sarah, if someone is a young person is looking on, or a parent who has a child who is inclined, to be athletic. And they're wondering, how do you even get to this point? How do you even sign up for something like this? Where do I even begin? How would you explain this to them?
So what we have been doing in the last couple of years is trying to align clubs to schools. So in Jamaica, track and field is school-based. Unlike Trinidad and Tobago, we have clubs. So in the last couple of years, we have been trying to align clubs to schools so that it will be introduced in the schools, so that we have a concentrated number of clubs in the Port of Spain and environs area. We have in the east, we have Tenapuna, we have Arima. Central, there are just a couple clubs in Central, and then we have South and then Tobago. We have about 6 clubs in Tobago. On our website, we have that information with respect to the different clubs in the different areas, as well as contact for the coaches in those areas. So most of the times, like with the trials this weekend, once young athletes, and we see it every time, people who have never participated in track, once they come to the stadium and they see it, at the end of the meet, you see them on the track running.
Yeah.
So then they try to...
They get inspired.
They get inspired, and then they know they want to be part of that.
Yeah. And what are you looking for to most on the 28th and the 1st? I know it's going to be a lot of work for you, but personally, what are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, I'm looking forward to our athletes performing at the best of their ability, those who have not attained standard, because coming out of this series, we have had roughly 30 odd athletes who have already attained standard, but we look for consistency as well. So you can't just put on a standard and then, So we look at that, and then we are hoping that, I'm hoping to see more athletes, get to qualify, and, so that we'll have a decent team going to represent Trinidad. In 2010 would have been our best medal haul at CARIFTA Games in Cayman Island. We had a little over 40 medals. The last couple of years, we were between 25 and 30. Not that poor performance, but what we are seeing happening is that the smaller countries are also developing and cutting into medals from Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Barbados, Bahamas. So, those smaller countries, they are also on their development stage as well. So we're seeing more athletes from those countries coming in and medal.
President Sarah, I want to ask you a two-part question. First being, I know there's the role of the corporate sponsors and, of course, the wider business community. Is there room for greater private sector involvement in this?
Always.
And how can we see this grow, and what's your vision for the growth of this initiative?
Well, for the over 25 years, we'd have had NGC as a development partner. They were very into the sport, and we had 1 or 2 other corporate sponsors on board. But with NGC pulling out last year, more now we have to get sponsors on board. We have an apparel sponsor, Puma, who give competition gears as well as uniforms for our national teams each year. But saying that is a good sponsorship, but then when the shipment of the goods reach here, we have to apply for a waiver of the taxes and duties and all of that, and that's a long process. Just last week, we would have gotten those waivers in hand, in order to clear the shipment that has arrived for competition for this year. But we always welcome. I mean, we have this year has been a challenge. We have been sending proposals to a number of corporate citizens to try and get them to support the sport. But, it's difficult. It's very difficult. I mean, it depends on who is involved in those areas and what benefits they see for themselves in assisting sport in Trinidad and Tobago, especially track and field. We are not as popular as football and cricket.
Mm-hmm.
The first and last time that the stadium was filled for track and field meet was back in 1985, which was the Neil and Massey Games. We had, full stadium, but for CARIFTA, we didn't do too bad last year. We had a decent turnout for CARIFTA, but we need to get more people coming out to support track and field.
Just looking back to a conversation that we had a few weeks ago after that huge win, I remember we spoke about look at what's happening now. Everybody wants to get on board when there's a success, right? So now, if you think about that, if you invest in the young athletes, you're going to have results like that later on, but you have to invest.
They have to invest in the athletes
important
at this time, not when they at that level.
Of course.
And there's government, they get refund based on support, so that they get a refund for supporting sports.
Well, I feel like that's always going to be an ongoing discussion. Well, finally, Mr. Sari, before we wrap up, what's next for the NAAATT?
Well, after CARIFTA, or even before CARIFTA, we have a team to select to go to World Indoors in Poland. We should, I think right now the team just looking like four athletes, Jareem Richards, Nathan Cumberbatch, Leah Bertrand, and Tyra Gittins. So those will be the 4 athletes going to World Indoors, which is from the 20th to the 22nd of March. We have CARIFTA. After CARIFTA, the next junior competition, we have the NACAC under 23s, and then World Juniors in Eugene, Oregon. For the seniors, we have the NACAC Open Championships. We have Commonwealth Games and CAC Games as well this year.
Well, thank you so much. CARIFTA Trials 2026, 28th of February and the 1st of March at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. Thanks for joining us, the president of NAAATT, Ephraim Zaret. Thank you, Mr. Zaret.
Thank you very much.
All right, 6:36 a.m. Saharan dust. It is so bad this morning. Did you take your meds? Are you doing a steam, perhaps, maybe drinking some peppermint tea, doing anything? I don't know. Nothing's working. We'll talk more on TNT Today when we come back.
News anytime, anywhere. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News. Committed, accurate, relevant.
One day I was out playing with my friend Kevin and he was really moody, kinda sad and angry at the same time. I asked him what was the matter. Someone in his family had been doing mean things to him. He said he had to keep it a secret. So I asked Kevin, is it a good secret or a bad secret? He said he didn't know. I explained good secrets are cool things like a surprise party or a gift for a special occasion. A bad secret is when someone hurts or harms you and tells you not to tell anyone. Sometimes they might give you little things to make sure you don't tell. That's another bad secret to keep. That's mean and controlling. Kevin said it definitely fell into the bad secret category. I felt this was something an adult should help with. Because as a child, when someone hurts you, you can feel really alone and afraid. And the best people to help you are the ones you love and really, really trust. I asked him if there was any adult that he trusted. So we worked up a little plan for Kevin to talk to one of them. A while after that, I could see my friend was doing much better. Now we tell all our pals about good secrets and bad secrets so that we can all feel brave, safe, and strong. Break the silence. Child abuse is one secret you should never keep.
So CTA say that they're doing the ABC of parenting, so I say I have to get in that. You know, anything with the ABCs, I like to get in that. I started with A for accountability. So you just mash up things from a side when you get vexed, and then you surprised when you get called into the school for your child doing the same thing. Recognize that as a parent, you are one of the biggest influencers on your child's life. You have to acknowledge that your actions and choices can impact your child's development and growth. Take time to account for any consequences your actions may have on your child and always acknowledge that responsibility before saying or doing anything. Your actions speak louder than your words. But at the end of the day, do your best. Share if you found this useful, and like and follow CTA's profile for more parenting tips as we go through the ABCs of parenting.
Follow us for all the stories that you see here and more at TTT Live Online. If you have a story idea, a press release, or you want to collaborate with us, we'd love to hear from you. Contact us today at tttoday@ttt.co.tt and be part of the conversation that's shaping our nation. Trinidad and Tobago Today, news you can trust, and of course, all the stories that matter. Well, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisasa and a delegation from Trinidad and Tobago arrived in St. Kitts and Nevis on Monday, ahead of the 50th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM. The Prime Minister is expected to deliver an address at the opening ceremony later today. The U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is also among the attendees at the meeting. Now, let's recap the stories ahead of that meeting with Sunil Lala.
Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisasa, accompanied by Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister Nicholas Morris and the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Randall Karim, successfully touched down in St. Kitts and Nevis on Monday afternoon.
We've just landed here in St. Kitts and Nevis. It's a beautiful sunshiny day. I'm looking forward to all the meetings that we'll have for the 50th CARICOM. It's a historic time. 50 years is a long time to celebrate. There's much that as the CARICOM we have done together, and there's far much more that we can do together. So happy to be back in St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you all. Have a blessed.
Mrs. Prasad Bisasa is expected to deliver an address at the opening ceremony of the 50th regular meeting of CARICOM on Tuesday, where Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Secretary General of CARICOM Dr. Carla Barnett, and recently appointed heads of government from across the region are also expected to deliver remarks. Just before takeoff in Trinidad, Mrs. Prasad Bisasa announced Minister of Works and Infrastructure Jillian John as the acting Prime Minister, wishing her success on this critical responsibility. And the PM also took time to cut the ribbon to formally signify the launch of the premium passenger services at the Piarco International Airport before her departure, an initiative which is part of a new suite of services that are being offered to premium customers, including persons with business class tickets on Caribbean Airlines and persons using the Flyers Lounge. Among the delegation to St. Kitts and Nevis is Tobago House of Assembly Chief Secretary Farley Augustine and Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Sean Sobers. And via a press statement from the U.S. Secretary of State, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will travel to St. Kitts and Nevis on Wednesday to participate in the 50th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Governments of CARICOM. It noted that Secretary Rubio will engage with Caribbean leaders to advance shared priorities, including strengthening regional security, deepening cooperation to combat illegal immigration and illicit trafficking, and promoting economic growth, health, and energy security across the Caribbean. The statement added that during his visit, the Secretary will reaffirm the United States' commitment to working with CARICOM member states to enhance stability and prosperity in our hemisphere. According to a media release by the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs on Sunday, TNT will pursue a series of bilateral engagements, including discussions with U.S. officials and representatives of Afreximbank aimed at strengthening economic cooperation, security, trade, and development. The CARICOM Heads of Government meeting will be chaired by Prime Minister of St. Kitts, Dr. Terence Drew, who assumed the chairmanship of CARICOM on January 1st, 2026. Sonolala, TTT News.
Well, as we mentioned this morning when we began the show, there is currently no cargo backlog in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, this is according to the Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Gillian John, who dismissed claims of any bottlenecks on the inter-island sea bridge at both the Port of Spain and the Port of Scarborough. The minister toured the Blue Wave Harmony on Monday morning and said, well, she personally verified cargo operations with the senior executive of the Port Authority, NIDCO, and port operations teams. Sunalala reports now.
Amid public unease over alleged delays on the inter-island sea bridge, Minister of Works and Infrastructure Gillian John is insisting that all freight presented for shipping is being moved between the islands without delay. During an on-site inspection of the Blue Wave Harmony on Monday morning, the minister personally walked through the loading area, demonstrating that no freight is being left behind.
I have found that the conversation regarding cargo and the capacity for cargo, making that trip across the bridge in Tobago has really deteriorated. I'm about the facts. So this morning I want to ask the CEO report, where is the stored up cargo, the cargo that can't get to Tobago?
So we have no stored cargo for Tobago. We clear the yard with each operation and each sailing. So there's currently no backlog. So we have trucks that are waiting to load at this time.
Minister John emphasized that the ship has the capacity and that it takes every type of cargo brought to the ramp.
Because not only does this Blue Wave transport cargo, cargo is also transported by all of these passenger vessels. This takes all the bricks, all the bitumen, all the oxygen, the dangerous goods, the poultry and so on. This boat is a beast. It takes everything.
She said there's absolutely no reason for panic, insisting that everything ordered by Tobago-based businesses will be on Monday night's sailing.
As a matter of fact, this ramp that we are on is supposed to close at 3 o'clock today. But once vehicles come here, they take the vehicles. They take everything. They don't leave anything. And they are going to leave it down for me until 9 tonight. So what I'm confirming this morning is whatever they have ordered, all of what they have ordered will be on this boat tonight.
The Blue Wave Harmony, currently in its sea trial phase, has 1,925 lane meters of cargo capacity, which the minister said is sufficient to meet national demand, with supplemental capacity being provided by passenger vessels, which can accommodate up to 7,000 kilogram cargo vehicles.
Look at that. All of that is space. And this is on the lower deck, right? When we go on the upper deck, you have even more space.
The minister added that the vessel remains on track to begin full commercial operations on March 1st and stressed that maintaining efficient inter-island cargo movement remains a critical national priority, pledging continued on-the-ground oversight to ensure sustained operational efficiency and a reliable inter-island cargo service. Sonolala, TTT News.
Well, on a lighter note now, we focus on the season of Lent as it invites reflection, sacrifice and renewal. But in 2026, in a world filled with noise, distraction and constant connection, what does Lent really mean? Marie-Therese Bernard spoke with Father Jesse Mango to explore how this ancient season remains deeply relevant today.
Lent traces its roots back to the early church, a time of preparation leading up to the celebration of the resurrection of Jesus at Easter. Father Jesse Mango explains.
And so Lent is still, the value of Lent today is the same as it was back then. Our human hearts face the same temptations, and we all need a time of intensity of prayer for renewal of our hearts.
The season is built on 3 pillars: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving.
And this pillar of prayer helps us with our relationship with God and deepening our communion with God and the Lord Jesus and the Holy Spirit and the Father. Fasting is another pillar of Lent, and that helps us strengthen the relationship with ourselves.
It is through fasting that we learn to be able to say no to temptations, to cooperate with God's grace, not forgetting giving to the poor, which strengthens our relationship with our neighbor. And in Trinidad, where food and liming are an essential component of daily life, Lent is not only sacrifice, but also positive interactions.
But it's not only giving up stuff, it's also about doing stuff. So, I remind like parishioners, who's somebody in your family that is often forgotten, or an older person, or just, someone in your family maybe who's sidelined, or, contact them, call them, you know what I mean? Or do something. Maybe go spend an extra hour in prayer in the church, once a week, or there are things to do as well, right?
But what happens when we fail?
And so I would say don't be discouraged. If you fail in one of your promises, just pick back up and go again. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just take a moment to pray.
Father says the spirit of sacrifice is important in Lent. It is connected with love.
And so the sacrifices today could come in all sorts. As I said, food, giving up the media, going and speaking and visiting your neighbor, dropping some food in, or it looks different to different situations.
Lent is also communal. Parishes host retreats, outreach projects, and extended times for confession.
Just yesterday, a young man was telling me that he went to confession for the first time in years, and he just left full of this joy, and he just sat down and he had tears in his eyes. He couldn't explain it. And I said, well, yeah, that's, you've unburdened your soul,
And Father gives some sound advice for Lent 2026.
Just try and persevere this Lent and try and make a serious effort at this Lent. Try and get a good spiritual book and find a friend who could hold you accountable with. Maybe you could share your Lenten journey with them.
In a fast-paced, entertainment-driven world, Lent offers something countercultural: stillness, discipline, and the chance to begin again. Marie-Therese Bernard for We Focus on TTT News.
What a beautiful message this morning. Well, the time 6:52. Hopefully you are up and about, out of the house, maybe grabbing breakfast, maybe deciding what are you going to do today? Maybe you're off today and maybe you're looking for something to do. Well, I have an idea for you. Where in the world is Cari today? Let's take a look at right here to see where did Cari go this time.
The trek on foot from Blanchisseuse proceeds through a small community of seaside villas, along a forested trail leading to Lasport Bay, and then back into the forest, snaking its way further east. A slight detour takes you to the iconic Turtle Rock with its arresting views. On the main trail, you're again embraced by the fullness of a flourishing rainforest. The undulating path, proving challenging at times, ends in a welcoming sight. This remote piece of paradise is Paria Bay. While not easy to access, this very attribute helps preserve its natural beauty. Just offshore are several stack formations, but the most interesting of these stands towering on the western end of the bay. The Elephant, as it is commonly called by some, and the Cathedral Arch by others, is a natural arch that was likely formed by many years of erosion. Some liken the slender pillar that stands in the center of the arch's bow to a statue of the Virgin Mary. Looking east reveals a lengthy stretch of white-sanded shoreline, fringed by the untamed forest to the south and the seemingly infinite Caribbean Sea to the north. Speaking of the sea, bathing here can be challenging or even unsafe because of the strong currents. It is typically safer on the far eastern end of the beach that is more sheltered from the crashing waves. A casual stroll down the beach, for a few hundred meters, provides views typically seen in travel magazines. Keep a sharp eye out for a ribbon-wrapped coconut plant though, as this signals the way to the falls. This path pierces through the markedly dense wilderness. Even the foliage thickens overhead, blocking the sunlight and eerily darkening the way. At times, clearings appear, illuminating sections of the trail. Eventually, the Pira River comes into view and the hope that the waterfall is nearby. Soon enough, a river crossing, followed by the final leg of the journey. They say that anything worth achieving does not come easy. I'd say the effort is worth the reward as we finally set foot at Paria Falls, roughly 11 miles from the spring bridge in Blanchisseuse where we started. We are welcomed by the sight of a 30-foot single cascade that plunges into an emerald green basin. The wide pool features both shallow and deep areas, so non-swimmers should play it safe. Note, one must be prepared to endure the nearly 4-hour return trip to Blanchisseuse from Paria on foot. Thankfully, we had the foresight to charter a boat that would take us to the Marion Beach facility where there was secure paid parking. Leaving Paria Bay, it became clear why so many would opt for this method of transportation. Absolutely stunning coastal views, paired with turquoise waters and complemented by the fresh sea air, marking this as an unforgettable experience. Yet, nature was not quite done with showing off, as our timing was just right so that we could ride off into the sunset. I'm Carrie Roberts, giving you a glimpse into the paradise we have right here.
Well, maybe it's something outdoorsy, something, I don't know, quiet, whatever you can do today, do something special for yourself. You know, so many people are struggling with their mental health and they don't say anything. And maybe you can see signs, but sometimes you just don't pick up on it. If you are struggling today, if you need a little break, maybe you can take that, do something good for someone as well. Maybe just make someone smile, share a smile with a stranger. Whatever it is, do something to make yourself feel better. Put yourself first, love yourself every single day, and just know that we're always here sending you good vibes on Trinidad and Tobago today. We've got Carrie coming up with the major network news right after this short break, 6:57 on TNT Today.
Introducing the new Sun Mix Nut Bar. Available in 3 delicious flavors: granola raisin nut, almond cranberry crunch, and coconut almond crisp. All packed on a rich bed of dark chocolate.
Taste the good life, snack right. Taste the good life anytime. Good life, good life. Sun Mix.
Sunshine Snacks Sun Mix Nut Bar. Taste the good life.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
This powerful verse from the Holy Quran invites us to embrace reflection, self-discipline, and spiritual renewal. Join us daily on TTT Limited for special Ramadan features, inspiring messages, heartfelt moments of devotion, and reflections that uplift our nation.
TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Good morning. This is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. There's currently no cargo backlog in Trinidad or Tobago. That assurance came from Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Jerlene John, who rejected claims of bottlenecks along the inter-island sea bridge at the port of Port of Spain and the port of Scarborough. The minister toured the Blue Wave Harmony on Monday morning, stating that she personally confirmed the status of cargo operations with senior executives of the Port Authority, NIDCO, and port operations teams. Minister
the conversation regarding cargo and the capacity for cargo, making that trip across the bridge in Tobago, has really deteriorated. I'm about the facts. So this morning I want to ask the CEO of the port, where is the stored up cargo, the cargo that can't get to Tobago?
So we have no stored cargo for Tobago. We clear the yard with each operation and each sailing. So there's currently no backlog. So we have trucks that are waiting to load at this time.
Minister John emphasized that the ship has the capacity and what it takes every type of cargo brought to the ramp.
Does this Blue Wave transport cargo? Cargo is also transported by all of these passenger vessels. This takes all the bricks, all the bitumen, all the oxygen, the dangerous goods, the poultry, and so on. This boat is a beast. It takes everything.
She said there's absolutely no reason for panic, insisting that everything ordered by Tobago-based businesses would have been on Monday night sailing. In other news, the long-standing non-payment of $42 million in benefits owed to retirees of the National Maintenance Training and Security Company Limited, or MTS, came under intense scrutiny on Monday as the Joint Select Committee on State Enterprises demanded clear answers and firm timelines from company officials. The inquiry into the operations at the National Maintenance Training and Security Company Limited continued during a second sitting before a Joint Select Committee of Parliament on Monday. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Utilities, Neela Ramatwaru, highlighted the state of company, specifically updating the committee on payments to retirees.
The retirees who have not received their gratuities and so on. We have a number of companies who have not been paid for services. So we are working closely with MTS to look at all the issues and to come up with that plan that will incrementally deal with all of these issues. Do not have the quantities at this point in time, member, but I do know it's currently in the amount of a raise of $42 million.
Chairman of MTS, Dr. Adrian Barron, assured that the matter is being addressed.
I've been in discussion again with the management and the PS. We do have a plan on the way forward in order to get the monies in order to do that payment, and we are looking at our receivables, correct? The receivables and a proper way forward in order to get in that receivables from the ministry, the different ministries that is owing MTS.
The executive of MTS indicated that the company owes $180 million to contractors, a matter that is being addressed by the Ministry of Finance. In sport now, the West Indies have made a commanding statement in the Super 8 stage of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup, dismantling Zimbabwe by 107 runs to keep their title ambitions firmly on track. With 5 consecutive wins and a batting display that nearly rewrote the record books, Captain Shea Hope says the mood in the camp is one of confidence but not complacency.
It's definitely not at the forefront. You never go to bat thinking, okay, I want to score 275 or 350 in a T20 game. It's just about getting as many runs as you possibly can and putting the opposition under pressure.
And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. After the break, we return to Trinidad and Tobago Today.
Your news, anytime, anywhere. TTT News brings you the facts that matter most, on air and online. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
wellness, the core of our existence on planet Earth. Let us hear the voices of our very own citizens, our local and regional medical community, scientists and climatologists. Caribbean Medical TV is geared to developing a consciousness in our people in terms of our health and lifestyle. Knowledge is a very powerful tool, and we must empower ourselves with the information to protect against chronic and other related diseases. From the impact of climate change on our health to NCDs, Season 3 of Caribbean Medical TV tackles the challenges we all face, giving our citizens hope for a better tomorrow. Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV.
Child abuse is one secret you should never keep.
Son, you need to do a better job looking after your bride.
800,000 women on this island. And you had to choose the one with the biggest rock on her finger.
Anita, I'm thinking about you whole day.
In what world can you and I ever be together?
I don't think you understand what you're doing. You don't have to marry Barrett.
You want me to fail, Papa? No.
Go and do something for yourself now.
This is my last chance. Tonight is about us.
Lazuli.
Follow us for all the stories that you see on TNT Today at TTT Live Online. If you have a story idea, a press release, want to collaborate with us, you know we will love to hear from you. Contact us today via ttttoday@ttt.co.tt. And of course, you can be a part of the conversation that's shaping our nation every single day. Trinidad and Tobago Today, news you can trust and all the stories that matter. Well, the University of the West Indies has introduced a groundbreaking Master of Science, or MSc, in orthodontics, the first and only postgraduate dentistry program of its kind in the Caribbean region. This specialist training initiative marks a major milestone in regional dental education, providing qualified dentists with the opportunity to pursue advanced, structured training in orthodontics without having to leave the region, of course. Open to individuals who already hold a dental degree, this program is designed to build clinical expertise, strengthen academic scholarship, and elevate standards of patient care. Joining us this morning to discuss this new program is Dr. Trudy Hoyt, coordinator of the MSc Orthodontics and lecturer in orthodontics in the Faculty of Medical Sciences at the UWI St. Augustine. Good morning, Dr. Hoyt.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here on a very early Tuesday morning.
Yes.
So, the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus is launching this new MSc program in orthodontics. Can you begin now by telling us what makes this program so significant in Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean region by extension?
Well, the MSc program actually started September 2025. So we took in our first cohort last year, September. It is a landmark development for the university because the persons now training are training within your population in your healthcare system, in your clinical reality. So most times if you train abroad, you would have had a little disconnect when you come back home in terms of how is this relevant to my current health system and my population and so on. So this is an excellent way the university will be building specialist capacity, and eventually we will become self-sufficient and we'll have better oral healthcare outcomes.
Yeah, Dr. Hoyt, we understand that this is the only postgraduate dentistry program of its kind in the region, am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, so why is this so important for dental education and specialist training in the Caribbean?
Okay, specialist training. Previously, if you wanted to train as a specialist, you had to go to the US or the UK or one of those other countries. That's at a great financial cost, personal cost to you. Also, patients, people who wanted care, not all islands have specialist orthodontists. You have to travel to another island or travel to the mainland. And some places have really long waiting times. So it will decrease the waiting times for care. You don't have to travel to another island or another country. And training at home, there's nothing better than training at home and actually building up your own healthcare system and improving your healthcare system.
Yeah, and who is eligible to apply for the MSc in orthodontics, and what opportunities does it actually create for dental professionals who, as we said earlier, already hold a dental degree?
So a qualified dentist who has an accredited degree and is registered to practice in Trinidad, you will get specialty training in a specialist field like orthodontics. It will make you, in terms of a clinician, it's clinically rewarding, it's transformative as well. After you've completed your degree, you can get into teaching if you wish, you can get into research, you can get into clinical practice, and you can even help with things like oral health policies and so on.
Yeah.
So it offers a lot.
Now, orthodontics is a highly specialized field, right? Mm-hmm. So what kind of specialist training will the students receive in this program, and how will this enhance the standard of care being delivered both locally and even regionally?
So you will be trained in diagnosis, treatment planning. You will be taught how to put on the fixed braces, the removable braces. We even have orthopedic braces as well. You'd also be trained with the latest digital technologies. You'll be trained in research methodology as well, and even be able to do career advancement. At the end, we will not just have a skilled clinician, but somebody who can think critically and practice evidence-based care, which is something that's needed in our society, to build your society and build specialists that practicing evidence-based care. You treat where there's evidence of a good result.
Yeah. Another aspect of this program is that it's being delivered in collaboration with the Royal College of Surgeons in Edinburgh, right? How does this partnership strengthen the academic quality and the international recognition in this qualification? I know that's something that a lot of students are also concerned about.
Right. So our collaboration with the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh gives academic strength and global credibility to that degree. The Royal College shared their curriculum and almost everything with us, because a lot of the members of the college will be teaching on the program. So it's not just local intent. You do have international content. We have 2 deans of 2 of the Royal Colleges and a vice dean, a lot of professors and consultants teaching on this program. So we have their curriculum, which we have put our own regional flavor onto it. So certain things that would apply to the UK we took out. We have their clinical standards, their assessment processes, and so on. So what you have is an internationally credible degree at the end of it. So it's not only regionally relevant, it's internationally respected.
Mm-hmm. I want to step back a little bit, and this new MSc adds to, UWE's already extensive academic portfolio. I do believe that you offer more than 200 accredited undergraduate and postgraduate programs at the UWE. So how does this special degree now reflect UWE's broader commitment to academic excellence and regional development as well?
Well, this program, in terms of the regional development, you're getting high quality internationally benchmark education with this program. So it shows UWE's commitment to innovation, research excellence, and just capacity building. And it's not just an institution for academia, but it's improving national and regional standards as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, for viewers who may be considering further study, it's a rough time financially for a lot of people. What flexible payment plans, if any, or financial support does UWI have to offer to make this program more accessible to a lot more people?
Professional development on the whole is very expensive.
But so worth it.
It's so worth it. It's expensive, it's worth it. So it is actually an investment in you. You're investing in yourself. So the university understands that, and what they have offered, what they offer for all programs is payment plans. So you can pay in 3 installments per semester.
Mm-hmm.
So what a prospective student who's interested, you can speak to the bursary. The university has a bursary department, the admissions department, and their bursary department for more information. So you do have payment plans to make it a little more affordable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, what I can remember from you is that there's usually an open day, open days, and I think that's coming up in March.
Yes.
So tell students, if you're interested in UWI and you're interested in the programs, how can they take advantage of open days that are coming up?
The open days are March 20th and 29th. So there you would have lecturers, you would have students who are on the programs, and you'll be on site in the facility. So you're better able to ask questions, and questions especially of students who are actually in the program, what their experience is like, not just the lecturers. So you're not hearing it from one end. You'll be there on site, so you'll be able to make a more informed decision, because you could actually look at the facility and make a more informed decision. Look, is this for me or is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, finally, Dr. Hoyt, for someone watching who may already have a degree and are thinking about returning to study, and this might be the year, what would you say to them? And what would you say to them that UWI is that institution of choice to continue your education and, to keep building on what you already have in professional advancement?
Well, because of how the course is structured, what you're going to have at the end is a degree that's regionally relevant, but it's also to international standards. So the challenges you would have as a professional, with the sort of patients you would see, you'd be better able to treat the challenges of the Caribbean patient, and you had a global benchmark, an absolute superb standard. We have the professors and consultants. You have a lot of mentoring going on. So you're being mentored by esteemed professors and consultants, international professors and consultants. And you of yourself, it'll be very transformative for you as a person. You get to build leadership qualities and get to contribute to not just the national oral health, but regionally as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, Dr. Hoyt, before we wrap up, any closing words about this new program and encouraging people to apply? What would you say to them?
Orthodontics is a very exciting part of dentistry. It is transformative. It offers a lot of work-life balance. The input with the Royal College just gives us that international credibility, because you have that, you can write their specialty exams, you have a specialty certificate that is respected internationally. So at the end, the investment will be worth it.
Yeah, it is definitely worth it. As we said, professional development is always worth it. Thank you so much, Dr. Trudy Hoyt, the program coordinator for this brand new initiative at the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus. All right, 7:19, another time check for you. That means you should probably be on the way to work. I do believe there are some unconfirmed reports of an accident somewhere along the east-west corridor. So please be safe wherever you're going, whatever you're doing this morning. TNT Today returns.
When it matters, we're there, reporting the news as it happens, because your world can't wait. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Exalt the Lord.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
This powerful verse from the Holy Quran invites us to embrace reflection, self-discipline, and spiritual renewal. Join us daily on TTT Limited for special Ramadan features, inspiring messages, heartfelt moments of devotion, and reflections that uplift our nation.
Ireland-based cybersecurity specialist Echo is expanding its footprint in the Caribbean with a major €10 million investment and a new office in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, this move is expected to create 18 jobs by the end of 2027 and increase the company's regional revenues from €2 million to €5 million. Echo, a European cloud-first managed services provider, has been active in the Caribbean for over 15 years and has now established legal entities in Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and the Cayman Islands. The company provides cybersecurity, cloud migration, managed IT services, disaster recovery, and compliance support to highly regulated industries including financial services, legal, and government sectors. With cyber threats increasing globally and regulatory demands becoming more complex, Echo says the region presents strong growth opportunities. Well, joining us this morning to discuss this expansion are Mark Donnellan, the Regional Director, and Pat Larkin, the President of Echo Security. Gentlemen, welcome to Trinidad and Tobago today.
Morning. Morning.
So, how long have you been operating in the Caribbean?
We've been here since the early 2000s. Echo used to share a founder of Digicel in the form of Dennis O'Brien. At the time, the business would have been known as CTI Global, but Echo bought that business in 2026 when Dennis divested Echo, or CTI Global as it was. And since then, obviously, we're heavily financially backed through our private equity partners. And we've gone on a very large acquisition spree in the form of acquiring north of 30 companies in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So what was a relatively small business back in 2016 when I joined the business and my first journey into the Caribbean, we were a relatively small organisation of about 70 people, but today we stand at just north of 1,400 people with revenues of about $250 million.
Wow. So for viewers who may be unfamiliar with Echo, what core services do you provide? I know I touched on that when I introduced the segment, but what core services do you provide and how relevant are those services, especially in the Caribbean today?
So I guess the main services that we provide are based around operational resilience. So when you look at what's going on in the world today in terms of obviously all the geopolitical activity on a global basis, climate change, what we've seen in the last year with Hurricane Melissa and other natural disasters, and then obviously cyber activity as well. We provide businesses the ability to remain operational through any kind of a threat that they may face. But not only remain operational, if they are hit with, say, a major cyber attack, we offer them the ability to recover as quickly as possible. So we can offer them recovery times that will be as low as seconds.
Well, yeah, and that is extremely critical when you're dealing with issues like yours, right? Yeah. What has driven your growth and success in the region to date?
Again, a lot of it has been around that operational resilience. So the background or the original services that we provided would have been very traditional business continuity services. So organisations that were concerned about their data, they wanted to get their data off island to protect it from things like natural disasters. So we'd been very, very successful with that. But then obviously through our acquisitions, we've added a range of cybersecurity services, which Pat can talk about. And obviously we've seen a lot of change in the market in terms of the threats that we see against organisations. So it's those types of services that have seen growth, and it's not just an appetite in the region here, it is a global appetite for these services, purely driven by risk.
Yeah. Pat, do you want to talk about those services?
Yeah, sure. So to build on Mark's point, so delivery, digital transformation and delivery of IT services needs a very complementary set of security services to make sure that those services are reliable, safe, ethical, and that you can provide ongoing continuity of business services. So ECHO provides a full life cycle of cybersecurity services, everything from identifying the risks that you face to mitigating those risks to monitoring your infrastructure and your networks, and then responding to events, whether they're malicious or whether they're accidental, and helping the full recovery service, which is key to providing the ongoing service and supporting your digital transformation.
Yeah. So what are ECHO's plans for the Caribbean business over the next 12 to maybe 18 months?
Well, as you've mentioned already, we've announced a €10 million investment, which will see us generate 18 to 20 jobs over the next 18 months. It's obviously a success-based game for an organisation like ourselves, so as that grows, we will invest further, we will drive on. Trinidad is the hub for our business. Trinidad as a market has been very good to us over the last couple of years. We've some fantastic clients here. We see that to continue to grow. Similarly in Barbados, we see expansion plans into most likely Jamaica, I would say, and we will also look to the likes of Guyana and Suriname. So they're probably our key markets for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And that, as I said, that will drive further investment then.
So I know you're Ireland-based, right? Do you see any similarities between Ireland and the Caribbean, not just economically, but culturally as well? How are you enjoying the culture since you've been here too?
I've been coming down here now for 10 years, and I have a lot of friends locally across multiple islands. But yeah, there's a lot of cultural similarities. We all like to have fun. We like to party. Just chatting to your colleague on the way here. Unfortunately, we missed Carnival this year. It would have been great to be here. But yeah, culturally, there's a lot of similarities. But in addition to that, I mean, Ireland is a small island nation, so we too are heavily dependent on things like imports, oil imports, product imports. So there's a lot of similarities economically as well, and we face the same types of challenges as a nation.
Yeah, and what are the biggest cybersecurity issues that you are seeing in the Caribbean and their businesses so far?
The region seems to be attracting more attacks than the global average. So in that case, it's about the experience we've seen in Ireland and in Europe is trying to build maturity and capability, because I guess if you're not mature in your operations, then the danger is you're attacked. Cybercrime is the third largest economy in the world. It is a very lucrative business for the cyber criminals, and then geopolitically it's very easy to affect impact on organizations without ever leaving your desk from other states. So there's an appetite, all the conversations in the Caribbean, there's an appetite to build the capability, to build the workforce, to use tools like AI, etc., to defend against the attackers, to build maturity in your operations so that it isn't just attacks that you suffer, but you deal with the environmental issues and you deal with inadvertent issues as well. So there's a really strong appetite in the region to build that capability, and that's something that globally every country, every region is trying to do, and it's something we see as an opportunity in the region to bring we have a very large cybersecurity workforce, we have a full service capability that complements our cloud and IT services, so that's a very significant opportunity to help the region to provide services to build that capability and in their operations.
And in light of that, what type of customers, industries or businesses are you targeting or working with? Are some more at risk than others?
Yeah, as you would expect, it's from a geopolitical perspective, it's typically critical national infrastructure. So it's utilities, it's government agencies, And then from a criminal perspective, it's obviously more lucrative organizations like financial services, banking, etc. as well. So they're the organizations that, you know, have the highest impact. But realistically, every organization, every sector is impacted by this because the return for cyber criminals is so lucrative. Nation states and geopolitics would focus on what has highest impact on your society or on your commercial infrastructure. But it is an industry-wide, it is a society-wide problem. So it's working with all facets in all organizations. But at a national security level, obviously government policymakers want to secure critical national infrastructure so you can continue to develop, you can continue to prosper, and that society functions normally.
Yeah. Now, you spoke about the jobs. You said between 18 to 20 jobs will be created, I think, by the end of 2027. Are you looking at local hires for this? Is that something on the table?
Yes, and it's already underway. So we hired our first staff member here in Trinidad 2 weeks ago.
Good. Congratulations.
She started with us recently. As I mentioned, Trinidad is going to be the hub for our growth and our continued expansion. So I would say the vast majority of the jobs will be located here, and it will be a mixture initially of commercial, but then also developing technical skill sets to support the local businesses.
Yeah. Are you concerned, in your personal opinions or unprofessional as well, at the state of do you think we take cybersecurity seriously in the Caribbean as we should be taking it, especially in 2026? Are you concerned that we're not doing that?
I think it's a global problem. I think every region has the same issue, which is what's been missed is obviously the digital transformation of society and industry. You know, has proceeded at a rapid pace. And if you look at like something now like artificial intelligence as a productivity enhancement for organizations, you're racing to accomplish all of that. What you're missing then is obviously the vulnerabilities that you have as a result of that transformation. So every region has the same challenge. Europe is the same challenge in terms of there's a global skills shortage of about 4 million cybersecurity professionals. There's massive opportunity for your previous speaker was talking about obviously education in medicine and life sciences. There's a similar opportunity in cybersecurity, and I know from talking to higher education institutions in the region, there's a really strong appetite to respond to that. Even with the advent of AI, in terms of using it as a tool to defend against attackers, it also poses risks to you. But there's no question that real people are needed in this role as well to help secure organizations. So I think every region is becoming increasingly aware of it. The rupture in geopolitics increases the threat and awareness around that as well. So I think every region is looking at this as a major issue because you're seeing in the headlines every day cybersecurity incidents, major impacts to organizations. And you're seeing the average cost to an organization of a cybersecurity incident is in the region of about $4 to $5 million per incident. Not every organization can survive that kind of impact.
Yeah. Are you also in the business of ransomware?
Yes.
That is something you provide for Caribbean clients as well?
Yes. Yeah. It's probably the number one threat to organizations in terms of the tools that hackers use, because it is so easily monetizable. It has such impact. And then similarly on the geopolitics level, you can take critical services out. Even if your goal isn't to extract money, you can take money out using ransomware techniques. You can take services out using ransomware techniques and disrupt society and disrupt organizations.
Do you think there are particular sectors in society that are really vulnerable to cyber threats?
Yeah, I mean, the shift has increased. If you look globally, the shift has increased, ironically, from commercial organizations towards government organizations, which is reflective of, I think, the geopolitics. So you've noticed a major shift in the number of government and public bodies that are attacked. And so that is reflective of just the current state of geopolitics, I think. But underneath that, there is a very firm industry of cyber criminals making very significant sums of money. I mean, if you look at some of the groups that are active, say, in the Caribbean, Akira and FOG, those organizations are making upwards of about $200 million a year. So there's a cybercrime economy that mirrors your digital economy and all of that sort of stuff, and it has similar infrastructure and ecosystem and business models, and it's very, very lucrative on it. So they will target, they specialize, just like our business would say, we're focusing on oil and gas, or we're focusing on government. Those guys would say, we're focusing on the Caribbean, or we're focusing on Trinidad and Tobago, we're focusing on financial services, and that's where we get most, or oil and gas or particular industries, because they build specialist expertise, and then they know how to attack and they know how to leverage financial payment out of their activities.
It's a business.
It's a very, very sophisticated business.
And of course, you can paralyze not just companies or industries, but nations as well, if it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what's happening geopolitically at the moment, it is a very, I mean, if you look, the traditional way of disrupting nations involved kinetic warfare, involved boots on the ground and, tanks and planes and stuff like that. You can similarly paralyze a state without ever leaving a desk in a state, a malevolent state in Russia or Iran or China or North Korea or something like that. You can similarly paralyze a region by by deploying cyber activists against critical infrastructure.
No. What an interesting conversation. It's a lot to take in, especially when you live in the Caribbean. We've not really been exposed to it for a long time, and now that it's coming out, I think there's a lot more education that we can disperse into the society and the communities about things like AI and not to believe certain things. There was recently someone took one of these videos of me and turned it into one of those scam things and saying, come invest in this. And I had to say, that's not me. Please don't invest in this. I beg you, it's not me. But to close, if anyone wants information on ECHO, where can they go to access this?
So you can go to our website, ek.co. In addition to this, actually, we're running an event at the Hilton this coming Thursday. Kicks off at 1 o'clock. Your viewers can find our registration on our website. We still have some slots available. Obviously, Pat is going to present on some of the cyber issues that we've discussed. We've also got a lady who's the head of global risk from IBM with us, so she's going to present on things like data sovereignty, which is a really hot topic here in the region at the moment.
Yeah.
So it should be an exciting day, but yeah, ek.co is the best place to go.
All right. Thank you so much, Pat and Mark, for joining us from Echo Security. Well, stay with us. Redefining Normal is up next with Shamla Miraj on Trinidad and Tobago Today.
Introducing the new Sun Mix Nut Bar. Available in 3 delicious flavors: granola raisin nut, almond cranberry crunch, and coconut almond crisp. All packed on a rich bed of dark chocolate.
Taste the good life, snack right. Taste the good life anytime. Good life, good life. Sun Mix.
Sunshine Snacks Sun Mix Nut Bar. Taste the good life.
More news, more access, more ways to stay informed. TTT News covers the stories that matter on air and online. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
You are dearer to me than all the stars. So many wish but never reach. When I'm falling and all the world seems dark, you help me find my peace. Oh, shun mi ba vijani. Oh, shun mi ba yeah. Oh, shun mi ba vijani. Arubita. Yeah, 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 yeah.
A new season equals new dreams, and many football fans are dreaming of their team actually winning this season. But the reality is that only one team can win. So many will just be dreaming and wishing and hoping that their team can deliver. Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Notice I have not mentioned Arsenal. Don't be upset, I'm not mentioning Man U either. This is Atto Bolden inviting all of you to follow the 12th man as they celebrate a new season on TTT and enjoy the ride.
Health and wellness, the core of our existence on planet Earth. Let us hear the voices of our very own citizens, our local and regional medical community, scientists and climatologists. Caribbean Medical TV is geared to developing a consciousness in our people in terms of our health and lifestyle. Knowledge is a very powerful tool, and we must empower ourselves with the information to protect against chronic and other related diseases. From the impact of climate change on our health to NCDs, Season 3 of Caribbean Medical TV tackles the challenges we all face, giving our citizens hope for a better tomorrow. Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's Terrific Toon Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world on Super Z, or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forest alongside our robot pals from Bugspot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. Catch Terrific Toon Time Monday to Friday at 8:30 a.m. and 4:10 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. It's fun-filled adventure with Terrific Toon Time right here on TTT.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Redefining Normal with me, Shamba. Today, I have in studio Shania Samaru. Shania is a self-advocate, but this year I saw her story where she played Carnival. And as we go through life, we often, sometimes question ourselves, question our vulnerability, and question our self-worth. But Shania, through her story, I think might change your perspective, you see yourself and how you display yourself. So, good morning, Shania. Nice having you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure, Shania. So, for those who are meeting you for the first time, who is Shania Samaru?
I am a self-advocate. I manage a social media platform on Instagram, _smiles_, where I share my life and how it has changed. Diagnosed in 2019, I had to adapt to what I would call a new normal.
So, Shania, you're here to share your story of your Carnival journey, right? So take us back to the beginning. How did your Carnival journey start this year?
So initially, it was always something that I intended to do. It was never a question of whether I would. However, it was more so like how to do it. And the opportunity presented itself, I would say. So casually, a casual conversation with my friends, somebody suggested, like checking out Lost Tribe. They may be willing to facilitate my needs and accommodate my needs, and so I did. And after that, I just saw a colleague with a Lost Tribe hat. Very funny, but I saw him with this hat and it sparked the conversation. And so from there, things, fast forward. And that's how I was able to play with Lost Tribe. However, the work would have started months in advance, like just therapy, aqua, as well as physiotherapy, and preparing my body to endure both days, because I know that was something that I wanted to do.
So you mentioned preparing yourself, right? So what empowers you to find the courage to show your most vulnerable self?
I think for a while I was not confident. I really wanted to shy away. I didn't want anybody to see me. And so I think, just living day by day, that was able to erode. I wouldn't say it's completely gone, but to a great extent, it isn't there anymore. And that's something, I hold near and dear to me, that I was able to be comfortable to be on the road. And what's even made it even more beautiful, I think, was the masqueraders in Lost Tribe that really was community oriented, had a familial spirit, and the kindness of persons were highlighted on both days, and even on both days, but also leading up to those 2 days.
So, what was your biggest, I guess, physical or emotional challenge you faced for those 2 days?
On those 2 days, I think the physical challenge was just, I was prepared to walk some distance, then, take a break, but it just wasn't possible. Not anyone's fault. I just didn't cater mentally for the amount of strain that would be on my body. It didn't take away from my experience, though. It really didn't take away from my experience.
So, is there a specific moment you experienced when you felt most powerful or free?
Most powerful, I think, both days, especially on the Monday crossing the Socadrome stage. To me, that was the goal, to cross the stages. And I say stages, with the Savannah stage being the main one. However, I was very happy to be able to walk across Socadrome stage. I didn't do the entire thing, only because, I had a very bad headache on that day. But I didn't let it stop me. It was something that I wanted to accomplish, so I pushed for that.
I showed the community of persons who are there to support you, right, during your journey. Who would you like to, thank to getting you there?
I think it takes a village, and I want to thank everybody involved, but mostly I think my sister. She has been there and she never allowed me to feel, it was something that I can't accomplish. At no point in time was it ever a question of why you want to do this, you can't do this. It was always like, okay, well, what's are the next steps and how are we going to get there? And I think she has been my biggest motivator. And so with anything in life, I think gratitude is always a must, and it's very important. So with that, yes, I do want to thank my sister most importantly, but I also want to thank the persons behind the scenes. I want to thank Lost Tribe for facilitating and accommodating my needs on the days as well as leading up, especially Priya, an occupational therapist on the Lost Tribe committee. She was very instrumental in making sure that I was comfortable and I was able to accomplish and achieve everything that I wanted to on both days. I also want to thank my physiotherapist at Back in Motion Physical Therapy Services. I want to thank my aquatherapist at Enhanced Rehab, my family and my friends for even introducing the idea of Lush Tribe, as well as my family for always supporting everything that I do, for never for believing and trusting in every decision that I take.
So, in your parting words, right? What message would you like to give wanting to experience Carnival, but also questioning themselves when they want to experience something, but taking a step back, thinking, I may not be seen as others. I want to show their vulnerable self.
I would mostly say do it at your own time. Even though I crossed the stage and even though I was able to accomplish, playing mass, everything like that, it didn't happen overnight. It was a process. And take your time. You will get there. And no matter what it seems like now, you will eventually get there. Live day by day. And whatever you put your mind to do, you will accomplish it. Always believe in yourself. Very powerful to believe in yourself.
Agreed. I think that's a perfect way to, and there's only one you, so we have to embrace ourselves, and let people learn from each other. So Shania, thank you so much. And I want to say, keep doing what you do. You're very beautiful, a confident young woman, and I know you would reach very far. Right? So thank you so much for always sharing your story and continue doing. Don't let anyone stop you or deter you. You're who you are. Nobody can change that. So guys, with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Redefining Normal. As I always say, be good, do good. Bye everyone.
So much, Shamla and Shania, redefining normal on Trinidad and Tobago today. 7 minutes before 8 o'clock. Well, today that CARICOM meeting takes place. Kamal Prasad Visasa, Prime Minister, is scheduled to deliver the address at the opening ceremony that's taking place today at Marriott Dome in Frigate Bay. And other speakers are expected to include Prime Ministers Terence Drew, Andrew Holness of Jamaica, and newly appointed regional heads, and CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett. Of course, you can follow us at TTT Live online for all the information on this. Tomorrow, we will do a little breakdown for you on Trinidad and Tobago today as well. Well, as we get ready to wrap it up, today is Let's Laugh Day. I know earlier I spoke about mental health and I spoke about the, just doing something kind today. Well, maybe all you can do is just make someone laugh, smile, do something nice. And I hope that you're in a good spirit today and that you will continue to be. I'll see you tomorrow where we do this all over again at 6 a.m. We're going to leave you on a musical note today. A little throwback to Carnival just a few days ago. Remember what we were doing last Tuesday? Well, here's Respectfully Yours, full blown to end the show on TNT Today. Bye.
Ladies, morning. Hello. You have a big dance later, no? What are you for?
I mean, maybe. No,
it depends. It's not good enough. Trust me, it's going to be the greatest party ever. Trust me. The only thing it's missing is all here.
Hey, eyes on the target. Come on now, man.
What's your number on top there? That's mine.
Okay.
WhatsApp me. I'll send you a location, all right?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Hope to see you.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Dog. Them gives look like the one.
Yes,
give
boy.
Ellie, go and
Yes,
get the
boy.
money.
Baby, when you whine on me.
Somebody gets the phone on the telephone.
I get wet. I get wet. I'm looking all through the party. I hope I find you there. And when I hold on your body, I'm gonna say my name. Like this is respectfully yours. Don't in a party, me and my baby, grooving and jamming, grooving and jamming. The music sweet, and we feeling sweet. I ain't ashamed to say, every night and day. I want to wave, I want to wine, I want to party with you. I want to love you right, yeah. I want to wave, I want to wine, I want to party with you. When the rhythm pumping up, it's everybody jumping up. We sweating, we sweating. And when the sun is blazing, it's party like we crazy. We fetting, all are we fetting. Take a trip, dance a dance. Everybody saying something, but you talking the loudest every time. I'm coming back. I only want to fetch with you. I'm looking all through the party. I hope I find you there. And when I hold on your body, I will not say my name.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Rennick Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
So I'll go right to on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Good morning, this is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts, making the news at this time. Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Geraldine John, made a follow-up visit to the port of Port of Spain on Monday night, arriving just before the final sailing. In a video from the ministry website, we see Minister John with top executives from NIDCO and the Port Authority making a check of the MV Blue Wave Harmony as it moves to carry cargo to Scarborough.
We have 185 trucks on board, as well as flatbeds and 5 20-foot containers.
Okay, fine. So everything that came went on board?
Yes.
Right? You left back nobody?
No.
Nothing is left back?
Yes.
And we have You clear the yard. All right, so the yard is clear.
During the walkthrough, Minister John reaffirmed her commitment to collaborating with stakeholders to ensure a reliable and efficient seabridge service for all travelers.
The sand is going, the bricks are going, gravel going, right? Everything is going. All right, Tobago business is good business. All right, so these people opening their mouth and bringing their stuff. If there's a shortage, it means that it needs more suppliers in Tobago.
On board the carrier were 185 trucks and 5 20-foot containers, as well as sand, gravel, and blocks. Minister John said she wanted to ensure that an adequate service is being provided. Now, the National Association of Athletics Administrators of Trinidad and Tobago says it is facing mounting financial pressure following the loss of a long-standing corporate partner. With preparations underway for this weekend's CARIFTA trials, NAAATT President Ephraim Surrett is now appealing for renewed private sector support to sustain its development pathway. Mr. Surrett says for more than 2 decades, the association relied heavily on backing from state energy company NGC, but that relationship ended last year, forcing officials to seek alternative sponsors and introduce admission fees for the trials, which were previously free to the public. He says replacing that level of support has not been easy.
We'd have had NGC as a development partner. They were very into the sport, and we had 1 or 2 other corporate sponsors on board. But with NGC pulling out last year, more now we have to get sponsors on board. We have an apparel sponsor, Chupuma, who give competition gears as well as uniforms for our national teams each year.
New partners coming on board, logistical and administrative hurdles remain. Equipment shipments require tax and duty waivers, a process the association says can delay preparations.
But saying that it's a good sponsorship, but then when the shipment of the goods reach here, we have to apply for a waiver of the taxes and duties and all of that, and that's a long process. Just last week we would have gotten those waivers in hand, in order to clear the shipment that has arrived for competition for this year.
Mr. Surrett says proposals have been sent to several corporate entities, but attracting sustained investment remains challenging. He argues that meaningful support must come at the developmental stage, long before athletes reach podium success, if Trinidad and Tobago is to maintain its competitiveness on the regional and international stage. In some sport now, it will be a busy month of March for the Trinidad and Tobago senior men's football team. This after the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association announced that TNT faced Bolivia in an international friendly on March 15th. TNT will travel to Santa Cruz, Bolivia to face the South American team, who will be using the match as part of their preparations for their upcoming World Cup Interconfederation qualifier versus Suriname. The announcement comes after the TTFA already announced friendlies against Venezuela on March 27th and Gabon on March 30th as part of the FIFA series. TNT and Bolivia last met in 2022, where Bolivia won the encounter 5-0. And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. From all of us here, have a good day.
This is TTT. Live for local. Carrie's Kitchen, powered by Food Hall. Grocery made greater. Ibis, a tradition of excellence. Caribbean flavors. In the heart of every kitchen. Lotus, the confidence to create. Correga Garden Supplies. Good and natural. Indie, spice up your life. Distributed by Edward B.B. Harry. Champion, always a winner. Distributed by Edward B.B. Harry. Lion, the power behind our great taste traditions. Excellence Stores Limited. Live, create, do.
sometimes when you have guests coming over, you don't want to cook a full meal, but you do want to cook something to entertain your guests. So today we're going to